Hey, badass business owners, I'm going to assume that you want to try to grow your profit, but I'm also going to assume you also want to continue to grow your sales. But I'm also going to assume that you're ready to stop working in the business all the time and start working on your business. But I'm also going to assume you have no idea where do you start, especially because so many businesses get to a certain point and they're like, how on earth am I ever going to grow the business even more than what I've already grown it? And that's what I want to talk about today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over 3 key things that you should be working on your business with. Because really, as you transition from being the worker bee in the business and to really scale that business to where you need it to be, there are 3 core areas of focus that you really should spend your time and energy on. Now, I'm not going to go super in depth on some of the different parts of this, but I will promise you that I plan to use this over the next few weeks to dive in deeper into some of these. So make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out on those episodes as I continue to break down this series that I really want to try to do on really what you should be working on in your business. Now, for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that I'm going to make number 1, you need to know your numbers. And here's why. Because a lot of times what happens is you go so far by using your gut instinct, by just throwing things out there, putting spaghetti against the wall, if you will, and seeing what sticks. And you're going to continue to grow a little bit just because of word of mouth, because your reputation gets out there, or just through pure hustle. But there does become a tipping point of how do I continue to grow? And you kind of stall out, if you will. You kind of stop growing, kind of like losing weight. You kind of plateau. Well, your business kind of hits that same thing. And the problem is, if you're not really diving into the numbers, you don't know which way to turn. You see, your numbers hold the key to growing your sales and growing your profits. But it also comes into all the other decisions that you're going to make in your business. Because one of the things you need to do is every time you make a financial decision in your business, you really need to be looking at the numbers. Now, when I say the numbers, this is where I'm really going to break down in the next few videos as we go into them, because there's so many things that are touched on when it comes to knowing your numbers. But for example, right now we are currently in the month of August. The bare minimum is knowing what you did last August and comparing it to what you're doing this August. And do you have a plan so that you can match or exceed what you did last August? The next level is, okay, September's coming up. What did I do last September? And what do I need to do this coming September? Then as you get better and better, now you start going 4th quarter. What did I do the 4th quarter of last year to the 4th quarter of this year? And how do I use those numbers? That's just basic levels of it. This doesn't even get into the fact that you're going to spend more time taking in going, okay, I want to do this marketing piece. What do I need to get out of this marketing money, and how much of a return do I need to get? What kind of profit am I expecting out of it? You know, because spending $500 on a marketing and getting $500 in sales means you lost money. It really does, because it's coming out of your profits. So what you have to do is, because you still have bills to pay on that original $500, so you haven't paid that marketing at all. And I talk about that in some other videos, but we'll continue, like I said, to dive into this category. Your numbers also are handy. Like if you're really stuck and trying to figure out going, well, all right, what is going on in this particular month or in this particular year. For example, the other day I was breaking down for somebody, we were looking at his top 25 SKUs from 2 years ago compared to a year ago to compared to this year. And it was amazing what we found just by looking at the top 25 things that he sold, and how the ones today aren't even close to the ones that were 3 years ago. And the reality is, find out why. What kind of nuggets are in there? Did they just drop off? Were they something that they were out of stock? Could you grow more sales because if you had more product? There were so many different angles to take the numbers, and we're still playing around with that as part of our coaching. So numbers hold the key to so many great things. It also is where you're going to learn if you have cash flow in your business, or are you struggling month to month to make things work. You know, people don't understand, how could I do $20,000 in sales and yet I have no money? Once again, your numbers hold the key. So the numbers are a huge thing. And honestly, that's where you need to be spending the vast majority of your time. As you grow your business, you're going to move more and more into that, especially as you bring people on. Now, the second area that you're going to spend a lot of time in is your processes. because you have to figure out how can you make your more processes more seamless? How can you make things easier to do? How can you get things done faster? How can you get them done with more profit? Because anytime that let's say something takes you 2 hours to get done, if you could find a way to get it done in an hour and a half, now you are saving a half hour of time, which allows you to not only work on your business, but you can work in more customers, for example. If your process is broken with how people are calling into your business, like they're not getting back to them for a while, for, a day or two, then that's wrong. You should be getting back to them the same day, if not sooner. That's a broken process. If you're driving to this part of town and then this part of town and then this part of town, you have a broken process. You need to figure out how can you streamline that so that way maybe you go to a certain area every Tuesday and you go to this area every Thursday or something like that, if you have a service space that goes to a home. Other broken processes have to do with the way that you do your inventory. A broken process could be how you train and develop your team. We have so many processes. I'll bet you anything that if you sat down and did this exercise I always tell people to do, just sit down and write down every area that you know is costing you time, money, energy, headaches, whatever it is. You are going to brainstorm at least 100 different processes that you probably could be tweaked and made better in your business. Now, a lot of times what I do is say then put them into buckets, because sometimes this process over here broken is because a bigger process is broken over here. If you fix the bigger process over here, it takes care of a lot of these little ones. But we'll talk about that more when we dive in deeper into processes in general. But a lot of your time as a business owner, when you really start working on your business, is going to be on these processes. Is there a software tool that you can purchase that's going to help you become better and more efficient at what you do? This is where, for example, Jobber and Housecall Pro come in really handy for our service-based business people, because these systems are created to be able to help you become faster at what it is that you do, because it allows you to connect with the customers, for example, to follow up, to send text messages, to do all these different things. So what you want to do as you try to grow your business is start diving into those processes and try to pick one or two every single month that you are going to really work on and try to do it. A few weeks ago, I think I talked about best practices in your business and how you need to get back to basics. Process is a great part of that. A lot of times when processes are broken, it's because we lost focus on what the basics are of your business and getting back to those basics. So everything kind of really ties together. Once again, we'll talk more about that. So make sure you hit subscribe. Now, the third area that you're going to spend a lot of time on, some of you are already at this stage and some of you are not, but you're going to be if you want to continue to grow your business. Because honestly, if you want to have a strong, solid, profitable business, then work on those first two things. But if you want to scale your business to even more heights and you know you're going to need to be able to hire people, then the third area that you're going to spend a lot of your time and energy on is going to be your team. Your team is the most critical thing that you have in your business, because you're going from you doing all the work to your team doing the work. And it might be a team of 1, it might be a team of 20. But whatever it is, that team is crucial, because they're the ones who are in front of your customers. They are the ones that are doing the jobs. They are the ones that are doing everything that you used to do when you were a solopreneur. So it's important that you spend some quality time making sure that you're hiring the best, you're developing them, you're giving the best training that you can, and you're also working on succession planning, meaning you're thinking ahead going, hey, I want to go from 1 crew to 2 crews. Who I need to start figuring out who's going to be that crew leader. Or instead of me leading the crew that I currently have, who can I develop right now that can take over that crew in 6 months? There's so many different areas when it comes to your team, including, like, for example, most of you do not even have an employee manual. You need to have an employee manual, especially once you get to several employees. Those are just pieces of it that you're going to work on once again as a business owner. All of these things help you make more money at the end of the day, because if you have a really well-trained team, for example, they're going to be more efficient, which is going to make you more profits. They're going to be less wasteful. That's going to make you more profits. They're going to be able to do more jobs. That's going to make you more sales and more profits. Once again, especially if you put them all together, because if you know your numbers, you can figure out how much you need, when to hire the person in the right place so you can have them trained, developed, and ready to go. Way too many people don't pay attention to the numbers, and then they hire when they're already busy. And now they're running around trying to train someone while they're trying to figure out and stay on top of all their business. If you knew your numbers, you would know to train back here, which then brings in the process. What process do you have to get them trained and ready and up ready to go. So you can see how they kind of all three work together really well. But I promise you, 80%, if not 90% of your time needs to be spent on these three areas when you are trying to grow your business and increase those profits and take everything to the next level. And like I said, we're going to talk about these a little bit more over the next coming weeks because I really want to make sure that you have the tools and the skills that you need to be able to grow your business. So if you like this conversation that we're having, please make sure that you hit that like button so other people know that they really should watch this video, and make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out on those videos like we were talking about. Please make sure that you're spending your time on knowing your business numbers, working on those processes, and figuring out how you're going to grow your team. We'll talk more about this in the upcoming videos. I'll talk to you next time. Check out these other videos so you can learn more, so we can help you grow a more profitable business so you can make more money. I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.